All right, guys, today we're going to do a review of 5 different items that have been requested over the last month or so. The first one I'd like to take a look at is quite large. It wouldn't fit on the workbench, and that would be, this is from lockpicks.com, and they call this the Locksmith Tool Bag. I would tell you the price now, but you start laughing that it's so ridiculously low. So before we all have a laugh together, how cheap these are, let me go ahead and show you some of the features of this thing. Very heavy-duty nylon construction. I looked at the stitching all around and I found absolutely no problems with this thing at all. Very nicely assembled. On the outside of it, you got plenty of pockets for pens or notebooks, or I use note cards if you got to take measurements or leave the homeowner a note or something. You got something to do that with. Place for your cell phone. If you still carry one of these antiques, perhaps where you work you can't use a cell phone, but you still want to listen to music, you're completely covered. Little graphite, and there's even an empty pocket over here. I didn't have anything to put inside of it. And on the other side, you also have 3 humongous pockets to fit stuff into. Another nice feature is this little pocket right here on the front for business cards. It makes it easy to see if you got business cards with you. How many times have you been on a job and somebody says, "Hey man, you got a business card?" And you go like, "Oh crap, I think they're in the floorboard of my truck," and then you got to walk out. Well, this way you got them very neatly. Say, "Yes, in fact, I do happen to have a business card." There you go. Too easy. Follow on business very easily, simply by putting them right there. On the top of the bag, you have a Velcro closure for the handles, so they're not going to be flopping around. And this thing is huge. Plenty of room inside of here for all of your critical gear. And, you notice when I open this up, both sides kind of open at the same time. And that's because lockpicks.com had the foresight to put a heavy wire rim around this. It's hinged here and here, so it's not going to be flopping around. When you open it up, fold that hinge, it pretty much stays open and allowing you to get inside of there and get a hold of all of your gear. Very, very cool. Plenty of room inside of here, a main compartment here, and then 2 large pockets on this side, and there's 2 identical pockets over here on this side. Plenty of room and also plenty of ways to stay organized. Let me close this back up and show you something else. Bag that's kind of unique. When you fold it over, a lot of times you have tools that really don't fit neatly in the main compartment. You need them, but they just don't fit well. So you got a little zip pocket here, and actually this whole bottom will remove if you want to. And when you open this up, you have another main compartment, and this is where you keep your larger tools. So if you have a double door tool, for example, I mean, it fits in there just perfectly. If you got a garage door tool, these guys are made out of, see if I can get him, he's made out of spring steel. Come here, you. So it's quite long. It's about 1 yard long, but he just folds up and fits in there very, very nicely. And then if you have a pick gun or something like that, he also will fit down there in the case, and he's not going to be damaged. So very neat. As I said, the bottom of this does completely remove if you want. Come here, you. But I leave it on there to keep those tools handy. How much? $19.95. That's it. Another nice feature about this is the handle. A lot of us don't close our case. We walk around like that all the time. If the carrying strap if both of these tie downs were on one side, notice these go corner to corner. If they're on one side or even in the center line and your bag wasn't balanced, in other words, you got all your junk over here but not so much over there, when you pick it up it would dump itself out. By putting it corner to corner, this thing is self-leveling. So whoever thought of that, kudos to you. Great idea. $19.95. That's probably one of the bargains of the century. Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and go over to the workbench and take a look at some other items. All right, guys, item number 2 is one of those things that you don't really realize you need until it's too late. So it's kind of like cheap insurance. This is again, from lockpicks.com, the pin checking cylinder holder made from solid aluminum and then anodized blue. Designed to be put into your vise. And then when you're assembling a lock, pay attention, challenge lock makers. You take your cylinder, you slide him in there just like that, and then you pin him up. And then you can check him, you take your key, you slide him in, and you make sure all of your pins are perfectly flush. This is where the insurance part comes in, because now all you do is you turn it, and the tolerances on this are tight enough to where if you've accidentally left one of your pins just a little bit long, you won't be able to turn the cylinder, or if you can, it's going to be dragging. I get so many challenge locks where I turn it, it snags, and then finally it breaks loose, and then it drags all the way around. This little tool will prevent that from happening. The pin checking cylinder holder, $12.50 is all I paid for this thing. Like I said, cheap insurance. All right, guys, this is the newest pick gun from lockpicks.com. They call this the semi-automatic pick gun, and I think you'll see why in just a minute. They've got a lot of mechanical improvements on this, as well as ergonomic and aesthetic improvements. First of all, it's all steel construction. You can disassemble if you ever need to repair it. You can do it with this gun. In terms of mechanical changes, let's check this out. First of all, when we squeeze this trigger, you'll notice that needle, it's not hinged here and moving up like that. It's moving straight up and down. So let me squeeze this trigger, and we get 1. Let's keep squeezing. We get 2. So that's why they call it semi-automatic. For every pull of the trigger, we get more than 1 shot against those pins. The advantage, of course, is that when that needle is straight out and it hits all the pins simultaneously, we got a much greater chance of creating that air gap at the shear line. If it were pivoted here, it would be repetition. We'd eventually get it, but our chances would be greatly reduced. In terms of ergonomics, you notice we got a bright orangish red knob here. We don't no longer have to hunt down a tool to try to tighten this down to replace our needle or to check the tightness. You can do it with your finger and get it plenty tight. It's a new quick change system on needle replacement as well. When we get down to the trigger, again, purely ergonomics. Instead of a bare metal trigger, we have this nice rubber coat. It's a lot more comfortable to squeeze that trigger. So very cool. Some great mechanical improvements and a very durable pick gun. This is selling for $52. Let me get this right. $52.16. I have no idea where they get these numbers. Inside of here, you get these 2 tensioners you see here, and then you get a tube with some more tensioners and a whole bunch of replacement tips. And there's one really interesting one here that I've never seen on a pick gun before. It is a dimple lock needle. And this would work on cabas. I've never seen one of these before, but you certainly get one with the semi-automatic pick gun from lockpicks.com. All right, guys, items number 4 and 5 are the bump hammers that are sold by lockpicks.com. And I get so many questions about which one do I buy, because they are different. One is called the Flex Plus, and that would be this guy with the white handle. In fact, I've got probably 12 years or more using this exact bump hammer. Mine's kind of worn, but after that many years of use, you can see it really stands up pretty well. The Flex Plus has a thinner white handle, and when you swing it, you can see it's quite flexy. I mean, that's why they call it the Flex Plus. So if you like flexiness in your hammers when you use when you're bumping locks, and I do, this is the one you want to choose. Now, if you like better control, it's the exact same thing. Same rubber handle, same sturdy shaft. By the way, the heads on these are exactly the same, and they're weighted perfectly. So you don't have to make any modifications to these. They're not hollow or anything. You don't have to fill them up with lead shot and epoxy it in place and go through all that mess. They are perfect the way they are. No changes required. This one is quite a bit stiffer. So when you swing it, you get exactly what you swing for. I'm going to try to hold these in side by side to give you an idea of the difference between the different flexes. I'm going to see if I can do it here. So you can see the one on the left is swinging probably twice or maybe even 3 times the range of the stiff one. It's a personal choice thing, guys. These are $19.95. If you still can't decide, you really don't have a lot of experience with bumping locks and you want to try both of these, and I don't know why I don't make these numbers up, and I don't know how they arrive at them. You can get both of these for $29. Let me get this right. $29.93. So if you buy both of them, you get roughly $10 off. So that's the price you pay for a little bit of experimentation. All right, guys, the giveaway. The giveaway is going to be both of these bump hammers, so you don't have to buy them. You're going to get this guy here. This is the pin checking cylinder holder. Throw that one in. Plus, you're going to get the semi-automatic, the BPG 25. And then I can't get it in the frame, but you're going to get the Locksmith's bag as well. All you got to do to win all of this stuff, I'll pack it all up and send it to you. Go to that website, register by hitting the big purple button, and with a little bit of luck, my webmaster will pick your name next weekend as a winner of all this stuff. Guys, just a note. If you have anything that you'd like to see me review, please send me or drop me a message or put something down there in the comments. Let me know. But when you do that, give me a link to it. I'll go out and get it, and we will review it in the Lock Lab. Appreciate your time, guys. Stay safe. Stay legal. Hold on. Before you leave, click that subscribe button. And while you're there, click that notification bell as well. If you'd like to be a sponsor, click there, and for $5 a month, you get all kinds of benefits. If that's not enough free stuff, hit the Lock Lab. We've got a self-paced lockpicking course with over a dozen modules at the bottom of the page. Join the tribe. Subscribe.